Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ken's Show and Tell on this warm, humid July 12th. And we've got a problem with our workhorse here. And my 53 Ford Jubilee is not a toy. It is a tool for me that I really enjoy using, and it's a very effective tool. However, I do have a problem. Let me show you what's going on. Number one, I've got water leaking from the top of the radiator up there. It is split. So I've got a new radiator on order. And to remove the radiator, I have to remove the body of the tractor, which entails unhooking the lights here and then undoing some bolts, which I'll show you in a minute. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 on either side here, and I undo those, and this theoretically should come up. And then I have to remove what's called cap screws down here, which hinges this front grille on. Let me show you in the owner's manual a diagram of what I'm talking about. Here's the Ford Jubilee NAA owner's manual I have opened here, and it's showing you the 4 bolts on either side in the rear. And they want you to remove the headlamp fuse, which I will. They want you to disconnect the lamps if you have here, and I have connectors in here that I can take apart. And then down here are these rubber washers with the with these cap screws right here that hold the hinged grille in front. So I have to remove all of this in order to get to this radiator and take the radiator out. And I also have another problem. Notice how this back end is jacked up on one side, and notice how, I hope you can see it, this front wheel, this rear wheel I mean, this right rear wheel is kind of off to the side. Maybe this will demonstrate it a little better. Watch this. Look at that thing wobble. So I'm going to check that out and see what's going on there. So the first thing I'm going to do though is remove this body and take out the radiator. The headlight connections here, I rewired these things a long time ago, so I just took the tape off of that and I'll pull that apart. It's most likely not like this on yours, because this is my rewiring efforts on this tractor. It works. It's been working for years, close to 30 years. So I'm going to undo this, unhook this little nut and little bolt here, and all that will come apart. There, coming apart. Very good. Okay, now I'll just put this aside and put this in here so I don't lose it. And we just unhook this. Okay, there we go. Now everything is separated. Now I take out these 4 bolts here using a 1/2 inch socket, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of do that. Now, I have not sprayed these with penetrating oil, but I might need to clean the threads out. We'll have to look at it when we get it. Nice fine machine threads. That seems to be okay. See, it's kind of clean. I will put a little drop of oil on them when I put them back together. Just kind of for the principle of the thing. So we'll go ahead and take the others out. Let's get this. Yeah. That's short like that one. It's a little, feels a little gunky or tighter. I probably was going to hit all these on the wire wheel, clean them up some. Had to take the front bumper off from the body, then drop the grill, and so you take the front bumper off. That gives you access to these bolt holes here, right here, to relieve this body right here, and then you can take this grill out. And we have the other bolts. You see how everything's kind of sitting crooked now because I've got it unattached. So let me see if I can get that out of there or off of there. Now let me show you what the manual doesn't tell you. Just walk over here and you can see I've got it just about dismantled. I still have to drain the radiator and take this radiator out and remove the shroud. But number one, you need to take the battery out. And let me go over here, I'll show you. Number one, you need to take the battery out. Believe me, that'll really simplify things. And then you need to take the air filter mechanism out. That gives you more room, because after you take out the 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on each side here they tell you about, there's 2 more right here, and these are capture nuts. If any of yours are left, you can see here in mine, capture nut's gone, so I had to make something, and here's the capture nut. It's still there, it's still there, still there. So you have 2 surprised nuts and bolts on this other side, and you have to release this side, and to also release this other side over here. So you don't have 4, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side right here. Okay, now the next thing, and that releases the back. But remember, take the battery out, take the air filtering system out. Next thing you've got to do, if you've got one of these, is remove the bumper on the front. Because if you don't remove the bumper, then you can't get access to these side bolts here, which releases the front of the hood over here. Here's your bolts that hold your bumpers in place right there. And now, once you have the bumper off, then you can take these bolts out right here, and you see these little things here. This washer goes on the outside, these 2 washers. That's what your grill rides in. And now you got to take your grill out, and then you carefully, I mean carefully, lift this heavy body off. And then what I do, just for safety, because it would be easy to bend the joints in the front up there, is I go ahead and just tie it up like this and set it aside until I'm ready to put it back on. Okay, so the rest of it is straightforward here. We will take this radiator off here, and we will drain it. We'll drain it first, take the radiator off. The shroud will probably come with the radiator. The shroud's in good condition, and then hopefully my radiator will be here in the next few days, and then we can finish this project. Coolant coming out of it looks pretty good. If I change it every year anyway, I can probably end up reusing this. The radiator's drained and out. I'll clean up down in there. Now I'm getting ready to take the shroud off. So that's what she looks like. We've already undone the other side. we go. There's the original shroud. And here's the old radiator. You have to pull the old bolts, the carriage bolts that fit up into these slots off of your original radiator, because the new ones don't come with that. So I cleaned them up really good, the nut and the washer. And then here's my old rubber. I knew my old rubber was good. And I knew those were good too. I just had to clean them up. These bolts with the rubber mounted right here mount into these holes. And they're thoughtful in that you have one you go in, this one right here you slide it in. I put some shroud on the radiator and then tried to offer it up to the engine, and it wouldn't fit because the fan wouldn't clear the shroud. So I just realized I had to take the shroud off, put the shroud behind the fan, and then now I can mount the radiator and then mount the shroud. Radiator is in place, hoses, shroud. Now it's looking a little more like a tractor. Very good. Moving on to this rear wheel that I was talking about, that's wobbly, I think you can see. I tried getting the hub nut off, it won't come off. I had it soaking overnight with PB Blaster. It's now getting ready to take the lug nuts off and then take the tire off the tractor. And as you know, this is not a light wheel. So let's turn our attention to why we took the wheel off. Look, now you can really see it. Now you can really see it. See it? Alright. Might need to put a little heat on there and see if we can't get it off. Push comes to shove, I'll chisel it off. So this is where that drum's been scraping and making a noise. We've been hearing it's been scraping because of the wobbling. Not on the other side, but look at this right here. This is why it's been making that noise when I've been driving. Look, the rub gets that spring right there. That's what's been going on because of this wobble. Okay, I think I will go ahead and order new brake shoes, a new hub, and a new hub nut. And then while I'm waiting for those things to come in, I'm going to continue trying to get this stuff off. Well, after a week of twice a day coming out and putting PB Blaster on it, and heating it a few times, and impact wrenching, and just doing it over and over and over again, twice a day, every day for a week while I was waiting for parts to come in. I couldn't get it off. So what I did was I brought out the grinder and started cutting, and the cold chisel, and I think I've just knocked it loose with the cold chisel. So let me put a big wrench on it, because now a socket will no longer fit that, I believe, and let's just see where we are. Oh, here we go. There we go. It's still warm. Ow. Wow. Ow. Sharp and hot. Okay, I've got it out a little bit further now. I can just put this on here and just kind of do it around like so. And I did it without boogering up the end of the axle. Oh, that's lovely. And this right here is a washer. It seems to be stuck on here, separate from the hub. I'll have to see if I can knock that off. But I'm so happy. There it comes. Yes. Whoa. And here's the hub. Okay. Well. Interesting. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is blow all this out. I tell you what, this looks all right. This looks all right right here. I was worried that it was going to be all goofed up. This right here, I think it's this hub that's worn out. We'll compare this one to the new one. But in looking at the these shoes compared to the new ones, I don't see any difference in wear, except for maybe right here. So I'm just going to blow this out and leave this alone. Well, here's the new hub. It says it's made in Turkey. All States Ag Parts. I did a lot of research on them, and people had good things to say about the parts they'd bought from them. Wheel hub new for Ford 8N, but it should be the NAA as well. Let's open this up and check the inside here of these splines, which is really what I'm most interested in, and how this looks on the outside, and just compare old and new side by side. First thing, look how worn that is on the round, and how crisp this is on the new compared to the old. Right off the bat, flip them over. Look at these, how worn these hub splines are. That's metal that's been boogered in or bashed in as if someone hit it with a hammer. And look how the difference is on that. Isn't that lovely? Got a nice taper, and this is just flat worn out. Just lovely. And the good news is the axle is not all worn and boogered up. So the hub was sacrificed, and that is really good news. So I'm going to put some Copa slip on here, and we'll slide the new hub on here. And of course we have a new washer and nut and retaining clip. But first I'm going to blow all this out so we can take a better look at the brakes. Here are the new shoes on this side. And then here are the old shoes. There just isn't a significant, or really a whole lot of difference between the thicknesses between the new and the old. Even though I bought these shoes and I bought brake tools and I have this open, I'm going to leave it alone. I really am. I need to get this thing back into operation, and I think we'll be fine. I've blown this out. It looks good. Slip. I'm so glad. Looks like it was the hub that had sacrificed. Hub's not very expensive. It was only like, I don't know, $70, $80, something like that. Oh wow! The new hub washer is here. Here's the old one. This new one doesn't fit. This hole is not big enough around. This one fits. It's got some rough on it from wear, but I can grind that smooth. I think that's what I'm going to do and reuse this old. The old thickness is bigger, is more too. See how this fits up against there nice and up against the shoulder of the new hub, up against the shoulder of the new hub right here. And then look at the new one. It doesn't fit. Decided to put more couple slip on here and then make it just, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah. See there, now those little keys, if you will, in the axle are just flush with the hub here, and it's in there. Oh boy, that's good. So now the washer will fit right on the outside here and pull everything up nice and tight. I don't have that wall. Look at that. That's just the, see how it's moving with the axle? That's what I want. That's what I want. Okay. Well, rather than put it on the grinder, I discovered that I could burnish it. Well, it's got the couple slip on it, which is fine. I could burnish it with the wire wheel and just take off all that old grease, and it was fine. Put her back on here. Let's put the nut back on. The new nut spins on pretty good. Oh yeah. Very good. That's not going anywhere. This will be a fanfare. Got this big 400+ pound tire and wheel back on this tractor by myself. No hoist, no nothing. I just used this ramp, this old ramp I had, a 4x4 and a 2x4, and kind of got the height right with air pressure in the tire, and just kind of gently finesse this thing on. These lug nuts are just finger tight. I'll have to get it on better, but I just had to show everybody. So if anybody in this audience has ever done this on their own, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. 6 bolts are in place back here in this part. Now I'll go down here and tighten these 2 in the front. Before you tighten up these front bolts that hold on the body here, see it's still loose, you need to leave them loose so you can spread these pieces to put the grill in. I'll show you. Start over here. Maybe not. There we go. Alright, now. Grab it right here. Brace it back. Tighten those up. In fact, I think I'll put those in first and then tighten the actual body up. You see, I had to back these out, spread these out, so these could fit on those bolts. So now what I'm going to do is put the nuts and washers on here, tighten up that first, and then bring the body in. Everything's done, buttoned up, wiring is done correctly, battery back in place, air intake, new radiator, no leaks, and new right rear hub, washer, and hub nut. Well, actually, I reused the old washer, and I've cleaned the engine on the outside, and she is ready to go and put up back into her parking spot.